Everyone, welcome to another session of Mulesoft Certified Developer preparation for the level 2. Today, I'm going to do a deep dive on the Maven plugin for the deployment to the Cloudhub 2.0. Maven deployment to the Cloudhub is widely used in the CI/CD process, and in our daily development, we might not use very often. But for the exam new certified developer level 2 exam, we need to understand what is going on. This will be they will be tested. There will be several questions on this. And in addition to in the daily life, this is important. We need to understand the internal processes. So today I'm going to explain what we need to set up in the Maven pub.xml. So this is a Mulesoft documentation. It's pretty useful. I have explained that in my previous video on how you set up this deployment, distribution management, and there is also you need to set up the credentials in your setting.xml, and then we will be using that the credential in our pom.xml. For example, here I have set the server in the setting.xml, so you need to use this. Make sure you have this. This can be done 3 ways. One is through the username and password. The other way is through the access token. I have explained this in the last video. And also you can use Cloudhub. Cloudhub is widely used, most popular. But either way, so you can use one of them. The plugin is like this. So I have in my pom.xml file here. So as you can see that I'll go through more detail on this in a little bit later. So I will explain that this section is important. So, and this section and this section, the two sections actually, we need to pay attention. I will come back in more detail on this, but first of all, let me show you what I have deployed, and then we're going to go through the process. I have deployed this, and as you can see, I have property like that. This is the environment, client ID and client secret. This is important. We use Mule use this to connect the endpoint manager. So this is a credential basically. If this is wrong, it will not be able to apply the policy we specified in the API manager. So I have used this API in my previous examples, the Hello World one, right? So I have applied all kind of policies. If you remember my previous video, I talked about customer policy. I add policy A, policy B, and a bunch of others policies. So the code I develop is pretty simple. There's nothing really fancy at all. This all generated code, and I did this. So when we deploy to Mulesoft Cloudhub 2.0, there's a lot of changes actually. So because this is, remember, this is a shared space, the Mule automatically apply this HTTPS. So there is certificates. So there you can use a private space or shared space. So remember that in the exam, it will ask you, how do I apply, how do I implement HTTPS using my my own or my company's certificate? This question is pretty tricky. Actually, you cannot do it. There is a choice there. You really cannot change. You cannot apply your own certificate if you choose the share space. So this you see here, the share space. Basically, it's if you know a little bit on the Kubernetes, there's a load balancer. Because it's a shared, you cannot have your own certificate. If it is a private space, then you can apply the certificate. So remember that. And now let's run this. So I want to just give you so because you have to use this. This is a Mulesoft generator URL. If you know the Cloudhub 1.0, it's pretty similar. Only difference is now by default is HTTPS. So you should know that there's no more plain HTTP. But it's very interesting. So if you look at that, I did not specify. My HTTP listener configuration is still HTTP. So the Mulesoft in the shared space, there's load balancer. So our application is behind the load balancer. This is really just a Kubernetes engine deployed the Kubernetes services. And all right, so given that, I think let's run this. So you can see it's working now, okay? So in order for the demo purposes, I'm going to delete this application. So I'm going to go through this and then I will explain the details. So let's delete this. All right. Okay, now it's gone. Now so in the new version of the Cloudhub 2.0, we have to do two procedures. The first thing is deploy to Exchange. So I create a script. If you look there, there's nothing fancy here. It's just this command. So this is how you deploy the artifact to the Exchange. So like that, okay? And also I create a script called deploy to Cloudhub. So yeah, Cloudhub 2.0. So this is another command. This deploy, and then you add another mule deploy. So because I don't want to do testing in my code, I have mule unit testing, so I skip that. So as you know that I have delete the application, but I deployed into Exchange already. So let's try to do a deploy for the deploy to Exchange. So I don't think it will succeed because they will say there's another version. But that's fine. If another version, we're just okay. So it's interesting. It's still every time he tried to install, and as you can see, this failed, right? So if you look at the error here, they said there is a asset already exists there. Okay, so that's good. That's no problem because I already done this. Now, so I'm going to deploy to the. So before I deploy, let's revisit this. There's nothing here. This page has nothing, right? So and I'm going to run this. Another thing is when you encounter error, there's another Maven will tell you you can use the dash capital X to look into the detail what's going to go wrong when you try it. But as you can see that it's deploying. This has they deploy it, right? Deploying, and then they were checking if application has started that. So now if you look at that here, you can see in the runtime manager is already deploying. See that? So in general, this is, as you know, this is Kubernetes, right? So it's slow. So if you have if you're ever working with Mulesoft RTF, you might know this. They have different deployment recording. Actually, it's pretty fast. So as you can see, I didn't do anything, right? But this is purely automatic. You can see the property already here, right? And the replica is 1. The size is 0.2. Is 2 GB, and we can use 0.1 actually. And logging. I didn't put any logging here. We can also put the logging. So I will explain all the details. And as you can see now, while I'm explaining to you, it's already started. It's pretty fast. Only the first time it pulling take a long time. And if you look at that, all the policy here is applied. You will see the XML thread protection, and there's another policy, policy A here. See that? Those are the earlier video I have shown you. It can also see from my local all the policy. When you see this, that means good. And also there is this is the instance ID API instance ID. So it's all good. And now let's try to test this. And let's send it. Because the first time it takes a little bit longer, but overall you see it's all good. All right. So I show you how to deploy the API. Now let's go back to the detail stuff. So as I said, the plugin. This is the important part. And let's see if I can zoom a little bit. So you can see that this is the plugin, nothing fancy here. This Maven plugin version, and there is a configuration here. This is the important part. Cloudhub 2 deployment. You are this is URI, nothing. This is Mulesoft, provider is Mulesoft, Cloudhub, right? MC. And environment is sandbox. And target is this. So what this means, this might be the different area is different. So, but let's go back here. Go application. If you go look at this. So this is the target. Basically what I did, I just copy paste. Okay, so this one is the target here. And new version, this is runtime version. Okay, so you get this runtime version from you can get this from if you normally what I do, I deploy a version or something, and you can see that. So you don't have to worry about other. You can also get this version from your here runtime version. So you can put this in a app runtime here. And so this one here you can use something like this. So app.runtime. This will be fine. So you can use so this is a property. This is a property available app runtime, right? So let's make sure I didn't type anything wrong. So app runtime. Okay, so app runtime, that should be good. So as I said, this target here, in the production code, all this should be this one target, server, those all should be parameterized. And also the replica. For the demo purpose, I just hard code here. So I have published earlier in the GitHub this is a similar stuff. This is, you can reference this as well. So what happened is that I have a plugin. You can, this is all the for deployment plugin. You see, but this is a runtime fabric plugin. There are a lot of similarities, and I think I put you can read files from, you can pass in the file and read from the file all the properties. That is how we should be doing in the production grid CI/CD. And also you can see that you can use connect ID and connect up. That's also a good idea. So these three attributes here, you can use connected up. So that's how I did for when I do runtime fabric deployment. And I'll put a link here. You can reference this. And let's finish our explanation here. So those should be parameterized in the real code. I'll put the way on how you can do this. There is a plugin you can read from a file. So in that way you can. Another way is when you do deploy Maven deploy, you can pass this through the command line using -d option. So that is another way, and this is quite popular actually to use that in the CI/CD because it's machine, so it doesn't matter. The command line is pretty long. That's fine. So I don't think additional, so another thing is the properties, right? Here. You put this property, you put here. When you do deployment, right? It will appear here, right? So if you want to, for example, you can say, I want to pass mu.env, right? You want to pass other parameters, other properties. In our application, we have global properties, right? Let's see here. So I have, for example, auto discovery. You see this property. You can put the API.id in the property as well. So it will override this. You can also the encryption key. This is very popular. You can put there. Another interesting thing is that you can put a secure property in here. So let's look the document here, Mulesoft document. This is remember you put if you want to mask the property in the, you need to modify the, so this is important thing you need to understand. It will appear in the exam. So you can put a secure property here before. So the Mu 2.0 is support. You can put into Maven, and this will appear in the exam. So secure. Let me see, it should be here. Secure properties. Interesting. But sorry, so maybe I was in the deploy. There is a secure property. That's interesting. So in the exam, they will test you how do you master secure property. So you can just say they will say, oh, I can put in the Maven pom.xml, there's a choice there. So make sure you choose that, and that's a pretty important one. That's the question. I think it confuses a lot of people who had the old developer one experience. They changed that in Mule 2.0. So that should be pay attention. Okay. So yeah, the property you need to pay attention. So you need to understand this, what this is for. I think they will be, definitely this will be tested in the exam as well. So make sure. Given that, I think should be, I will put this in the documentation and be available. So in that way you can reference this. But the Mulesoft document is okay, but it's a little bit harder if you don't have the examples. They should have a good example here, but and this part you will see a lot of available. This in how to encryption this. This is easy part. I also put in the previously published document on how to do this. So that is pretty much about the using Maven plugin to deploy to Cloudhub. Just recapture the command line. You need to remember. You need to first publish to the exchange. You need to do this, and then you can publish. You can deploy. So I think this will be appear in the exam. The sequence. These two are important. There are two steps. You cannot just run the last step. It will not work. So that is another thing you need to remember. And also you need to remember, how do we pass a property? How do we pass a secure property? And what is a plugin? This is I think org Maven plugin, Maven plugin. And also remember, this is Cloudhub 2 deployment. So this is distinguished from the previous one. Previous one does not have this. That's a few key points you should pay attention. I will put all this formal document in either in the GitHub, or I publish to the D-Zone, so it will be available to you. All right, I will conclude this presentation. So this is about Maven deployment to the Cloudhub for CI/CD part, and this is, you need to go through the document. I put the reference to this document. This is a good one. That's all for today. Thank you for watching the video. We'll see you in the next section about security.